Thank you very much. Okay, Shalom Chevra, here we go. We're going to be speaking about something very special and something that needs to be thought about, as the world is in a very interesting state currently. Shalom, shalom. And that is to try and maybe understand a little bit more of one of the deeper causes for why Hashem has sent this virus around the world. And it's something that has affected the world tremendously. And we want to a little bit come to see if we can understand a reason, something that could be practical for us, a message to take out of it, a practical way to understand. And even though we know about Hashem, that Hashem is called a kel nistater, which means God is hidden. Even the word world, how do you say world in Hebrew? Olam. Olam comes from the root of he'elem, beautiful, which means hidden. That God is, so to speak, hiding himself in his world. Of course, that's in order to give free will. And we spoke about that another time. We'll speak more about free will. But Hashem hides himself, and therefore his presence is hidden, and his ways are hidden and mysterious. And anybody who comes over to you and says, I know everything about God, and I can tell you exactly why he does everything, what should you do? Run away. Very fast, the opposite direction. Because Hashem is infinite and we're not. And therefore we don't always know why he does things. But he gives us messages in order to understand what he wants. And this is something which has affected the world so tremendously, financially, where the stock market dropped 40% in 2 weeks, I believe, that's unparalleled. Even the recession was not that dramatic in such a short period of time. And an invisible force seems to be bringing the world to its knees, and nobody can quite figure out exactly what's happening. And the amount of changes just in people's life that have happened have been so tremendous. And therefore, obviously, Hashem is speaking to us. And he's telling us to get a message. And first and foremost, we have to just know that our hearts are going out to everyone who is affected by this. To anyone who has lost their life, Hashem Yirachem, to this. And our prayers are with them, that their souls should go higher and higher. And anyone who's still not well, that we're davening for them to be healthy immediately. Immediate health for all of humanity. Hashem guides the world in a way where he leaves us clues as to what he wants from us. He speaks to us and he leaves hints about what to do. And he is speaking to us. He's not speaking to you like a voice out of heaven that sounds like Morgan Friedman. And if he does, then come speak to me privately, and we'll have to deal with that. But he is speaking to you, quote unquote, and giving you messages as things for us to do and to learn, and in order to get the message, so to speak. One of the great tzaddikim, Ramban, many others, they had a line like this, that all the challenges of this world and the things that we can't wrap our mind around, the real big things, those difficulties in this world, there's no answers for those things. But in the world to come, or let's call it heaven, in that world up there, there's no more questions. The questions of this world that seem so challenging, we'll never fully have all the answers, but in the world to come, there's no more questions. Because we finally see everything with clear eyes. It could be compared, a famous analogy, a person who hears screaming from the other side of a door, and he looks through the keyhole and he sees, oh my goodness, there's a man there with a knife, and he's throwing down the knife, and he sees blood, and he busts down the door, and he comes in, all of a sudden he's blinded by the lights, and he sees he's in an operation theater, and he sees the man with the knife was really a surgeon doing open heart surgery and saving this man's life. And he would have never known that had he not opened the door. But from his keyhole view, all he saw was something that looked so bad. And therefore, we're not going to have all the answers because we don't have the full picture yet. But up there, we'll have the full picture. That being said, in every generation, there are righteous, we call tzaddikim, righteous, noble men of honor, men of integrity, women of integrity, who open up the keyhole a little bit more for us, who give us insight on what's happening as a way to see and be sensitive to what the messages of Hashem really are, what the messages of God really are. And therefore, I want to share with you one message that was given from a great tzaddik of our generation, Rav Tzvi Meyer Zilberberg, Shlita, one of the great, great righteous people of the generation, was completely absorbed in serving the community and helping other people and being a light to all of humanity. And he pointed out something unique, a way of seeing a little bit of what Hashem is trying to tell us, to, so to speak, peel back the paragoi, to open up just a little bit, not the whole story, but just an opening a little bit of the keyhole. So he pointed out something interesting. There's one thing about this virus which is extremely prevalent for everybody, more or less, not everybody, but very prevalent, is that people lose their tam v'reach, their taste and their smell. I had someone over Shabbos. He had the virus 2 months ago. He mamish still can't smell. He cannot smell. And we bring out a lot of nice besamim, smelling essential oils by the Friday night meal. He couldn't smell it. But he did tell me when the hot pastrami came out, he smelled a little bit of that. You know, we like hot pastrami in my house, Baruch Hashem. So when that came out, all of a sudden something happened. I guess that's one of the, something hit home. Even somebody today I just spoke to, he said nothing. No, the smell is totally not there. Taste, gone. Some people it's coming back, some people no. We want everyone to have it back. And if Hashem is sending such a thing into the world that's affecting the tam v'reach, the smell, taste and the smell, Rav Tzvi Meyer said there's something that it's telling us. There's some lesson that Hashem is trying to teach us. Okay? And of course, this is just a hint of what's going on in order for us to get the message and start to do the healing. And this doesn't mean on any one person that they're not doing these things. This means as a message to humanity that there's something going on. We've never seen such a thing that's so towards all of humanity that's affecting in this way. That there's something about as humanity, our taste and smell that's off. And therefore, there's a loss of it, and we need to fix it. So now let's go into taste and smell. And this is not coming at the exclusion of any of the therapeutics and medical interventions that are happening. This is just to give a deeper perspective on one of the messages of Hashem through this time. So King David, the beloved King David, says something amazing. King David says in Tehillim, the Psalms, Lamed Daled 34, when he's describing the relationship a person should have with Hashem, he says, Tamu uru'u ki toiv Hashem. Translated, taste and see that Hashem is good. Your relationship to Hashem should be such a degree that you can taste it, that you feel close to Hashem in a way that there's a taste, that you're actually enjoying that relationship with God, that it's so real that you can taste it. Now, my friends, let's talk about taste a little bit. Taste is something interesting that nobody can deny when you taste something. What do I mean by that? If I were to put, Brian, a nice piece of Wagyu steak right there, steaming hot on the table, and you lay into it, after a bracha, of course, and then you enjoy the marbled meat flavors. Yeah, it's delicious, fantastic. Or for people more like me, some wheatgrass juice, more of an organic style thing. I'll have the Wagyu also with a side of wheatgrass juice. And you take that in. And now I'm going to tell you, and I'll say, how was it? You say, delicious. 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10. And then I say, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. You didn't like it. You would say, I know what I just had, and I know that that was delicious. Because taste is something that's so real, you can't argue on taste. You know what I'm saying, Manny? It's so experiential, it's an undeniable experience. When you taste something, you can't deny, I can't come along and tell you did not enjoy that, because you say, I completely imbibed it, it was delicious, it was visceral, I felt it. Taste is something which is undeniable, which courses through you. It's something that you know for certain when you have it. However, if you were to go to a really good class, let's say, you heard an inspirational speech, and then you come out, you're feeling so high from it. And then someone says, that wasn't so good. It wasn't. So that person might think, you're right, that actually wasn't so good. There's certain things in life that you can kind of poke put a rift into. It wasn't so, the guy's like, yeah, you're right, I thought it was so good, and you say, how was the movie? The best movie I ever saw. And the guy's like, that was the worst movie I ever saw. You know what, it wasn't that good actually. It was pretty bad. But taste, you tell the guy, that was a horrible thing. You're like, I know what I tasted. That was delicious. So step one in taste, my friends, is that taste is something that's so real, so visceral, so experiential, nobody can argue on it. It completely infuses you. And that's why one of the deeper reasons why when Yitzchak wanted to give the brachos to what he thought was Esav, and he ended up going to Yaakov, what did he ask for before he gave the blessings, my friends? Some food, the mat'amim, those nice tasty things, the Korban Pesach. Now what's the reason for that? He was hungry. He didn't want to give a blessing on an empty stomach. He didn't want to go to afternoon Seder without, like some rugelach in the system. Chas v'shalom. You think that's pshat? What was he saying in the deepest way? He was saying, I want this blessing to go to you. I'm giving you the blessing of being an eternal nation. A nation that's going to be connected to bringing God's presence into the world. Like Nissen Black said so beautifully on Thursday, that my mission in life is to bring the light into the dark places where Hashem is not found currently. When Isaac gave that blessing, he said, I am giving you this blessing, but it needs to be in a way of taste. That the blessing is so real to you that it completely courses through you and there's nothing that could be deniable about it. It's completely experiential. You get it. It's integrated 100%, which also food, my friends, we know integrates into the whole system. That's a very interesting part about food. Food is something integrated, literally becomes you. Like every nation in the world knows, the famous line, right? It's in every single language, in every single country in the world. And of course that is, you are what you eat. Everybody knows that. There's something, a trueness to that. It has to be in a way of taste. We also know, Rav Pinkus asked a beautiful question, which is on Friday night. We make kiddush, we sanctify Shabbos with what? A cup of wine. Some oreganos, the good stuff. Friday night, kiddush. And the question he asks is, why do you have to make kiddush on a cup of wine? Kiddush just means to recognize that Shabbos has begun. Why do you make kiddush holding up a Gemara? Make kiddush holding up a Chumash. Why? What's with the cup of wine? Make kiddush on, I don't know, anything. Hold your kids, hold them tight. Give them a hug and say, Hashem, you gave me Shabbos. Why do you hold the cup of wine? Says Rav Pinkus, because Shabbos coming in has to be so real to you, like you're imbibing it, that you're tasting it. The Kiddush has to be saying you literally ingest, it courses through every part of you. Taste is something that's real, that you cannot deny. And Hashem is sending right now something about this disease, this virus, that it takes away taste. Because the question for us is how much of our connection and relationship to Hashem is on the level of really tasting it, that it's delicious, that we really are connecting to it in a very real way. How excited are we to go to Mincha? How excited are we like we're deliciously tasting, putting on our tzitzis? You bring out a platter of wings, yeah boys! The beers come out, yo! let's go. Why so excited? Because I taste the wings. I taste the beer. It's good stuff. Micro brew, local, Jerusalem style. It's good stuff. It feels good. I taste it. Mincha. Oh, yeah. Tzitzis. Oh, it's like tight. I can't wear it. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. The tzitzis thing. Tefillin. Oh, okay. I'll strap up, I guess. We're going for sushi. Sushi! Spicy mayo! Yeah, boys. Because you're tasting it. It's real to you. It's very real. It's real. Hashem is saying, if your hoagie sandwich, your gyro sandwich, your pastrami sandwich from New York Deli, that's usually where I am when I'm in New York, some deli over there, the hot pastrami with the pickle, and then the little toothpick with the little thing on the top there. So you taste it. But if life for you is that you taste and are excited more about a piece of rotting flesh between two slices of bread and a little pickle on there, that's more delicious, more tasty to you than the eternal relationship with Hashem of Shabbos, of tzitzis, of all the other mitzvahs, of doing a good deed for somebody, means that something is going on, Hashem is saying, where the taste has been compromised. And therefore Hashem is sending something now that the taste has become compromised. Am I doing a good deed for somebody else because I really feel close to them? I'm tasting that relationship, or because I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's a good relationship like that. Our deeds, our relationships now have to go to a place of I'm tasting it, I'm feeling a relationship to you. And the way to fix this is what's called learning the Tameh HaMitzvahs. It's a much longer discussion, but Rabbi Shimon says that it's not enough for our generation to just do the mitzvahs, to do the things of the expected behaviors of a relationship. We have to feel what's the reasons behind it. And if you notice, Tameh HaMitzvahs, the reasons of the mitzvahs come from the same word as the taste of the mitzvahs. And that's only going to happen by a person learning the deeper part of Torah. And that could be that a person starts learning Derech Hashem, the Gra, the students of the Baal Shem Tov, learning the deeper inner light of the Torah, where you start to get the taste of what does it really mean to have a friend? What does a friend really mean? How can I help them? How can I really love this person? How can I love my wife? How can I love my husband, my kids? How can I love my tefillin? What is tefillin? Not just what are the halachas of tefillin. Of course you need to know that. Not just put a mezuzah on your doorpost, but what is the light, the relationship of a mezuzah? To have a relationship with Hashem through that. So that's number one, the taste. The way to heal the taste is to learn the inner meaning of the mitzvahs. Let's just quickly go now to the smell, the reach. When man was created in the garden, he was created like all the other creatures. Essentially, he was more or less a Neanderthal, according to many of the opinions. And then something wondrous happened. V'yipach ba'apav nishmas chaim, which means that Hashem blew into his nostrils the living soul. That living soul, that godly soul, made him separate than all parts of creation, which means now man was a composite of a godly soul on one side and an animalistic, egotistical, just selfish, angry animal on the other side. And man's job, man, woman, together, is to rectify and to choose the side of the soul, which means the side of the source of the soul through the nose. The Hebrew word for breathing, nishima, comes from the same word as what? Nishama, which means soul. Your soul and breathing are completely linked, and Hashem puts the soul in through the nostrils, and we know that the soul was the one thing, the nostrils, the smell was the one thing that was not affected in the Garden of Eden. Because it says that Adam, of course, saw the tree. The sight became contaminated. He touched the fruit. The touch became contaminated. He heard the evil speech of the snake. Hearing became contaminated. He, of course, tasted it. Taste. But it never says that he smelled. The smell remained pure and pristine. And it still is our most pristine scent. That's why the nose knows, like we say. And the nose is a symbol of being connected to the soul, of my true identity as a soul and not as a body. And therefore, one of the main parts of what's happening now, of losing the smell, say the tzaddikim, is it's a message for us. I need to make a concerted effort now to get more in touch with my soul, which is the source coming through the nostrils, and not just put all my focus on I'm a body, and I'm somebody who is an angry, selfish person who just wants to get more. Do we like being angry? We don't like, it doesn't feel good. One of the best ways to stop being angry is just have somebody take a video camera of you while you're angry, and then have them play it to you, like a replay. You'll be like, that was disgusting. And like, dude, that was you. Oh my, that was me. Yeah. Do we like being impatient? You really feel good. You're not going to get there 1 second soon. You feel good being impatient. You just make everyone else uncomfortable. You're standing in line, pushing like, bro, like what are you doing? Like, it's not moving any faster, my friend. All of these things are from the body side of us, and the soul is completely absorbed in meaning and compassion and relationship and everything that's really us. And therefore, there's a very, very important time now to start to refocus on being a person of the soul as our true identity. And one of the ways to do that is involve yourself with people who are teaching about the soul. Of course, learn the things we just mentioned, the deeper works that talk about you having a soul. Reach out to people in your communities that will begin this conversation of learning more about being a person of the soul, because we want the whole world to be healthy. And this is a sign that the tzaddikim are opening up that little keyhole for us right now and saying that there's something about the taste and the smell that's being taken away that we have to reconsider. The taste, am I really experiencing and tasting that relationship with God in a real way? Or do I like the wings and the hoagies much more? Or the nacho chips or whatever your thing is? With the cheese from the ballpark? That one? With the jalapenos on it? Is that what I get a geschmack, a taste from? Or do I really get a taste from sitting and learning Torah and doing a mitzvah of helping somebody, reaching out to a friend I haven't spoken to in a while, sending someone a nice note, a nice email, reaching out to somebody that might need me, and that I feel, I taste that relationship. And the smell, which of course, like we said, is the source of where the soul was blown into us, that godly soul. That we want to reconnect with that part of us, the true soul of us. And with that, my friends, we're going to start to rectify, to get the message that Hashem is leaving His fingerprints, and He's telling us, I want you to get and hear the message. And with that, our prayers are for everyone around the world and all of humanity to have a full refuah shlema, a full healing, that all of humanity can be strong and healthy and be able to fully actualize our purpose in this world and bring goodness to all of humanity and to bring blessing to all of humanity. And everyone should be completely uplifted in a state of goodness and happiness, and that Mirz Hashem, we should see that final redemption in the Binyan Beis HaMikdash, B'mheira v'yameinu, Amen ve'amen.